honor, courage, loyalty. 3 demands of the ancient samurai code, 3 requirements needed inside a Super Formula race car. The second half of Japan's top-level single-seat race series is kicking off at the country's most prestigious circuit, Suzuka International Racing Course. Strap yourselves in for the epic season decider. This is Super Formula 2020. Welcome to Red Bull TV for the Super Formula Stop 5, Round 5. We've also got Round 6 coming tomorrow. They're thick and fast at this stage of the season. And joining me in the commentary box once again, Martin Plowman. He's a Le Mans winner. He's also an IndyCar racer as well. So you know what it's like to race these open wheel cars.
Yes, Bryn. So Suzuka, double header, fantastic weekend ahead of racing. And for me, this is the crucial pivot point of the year, and I can't wait to see how it unfolds.
Yeah, absolutely. You've had quite an exciting qualifying a little bit earlier on today, but this is the crucial one because in Super Formula this season there are dropped scores. The best 5 results of each driver over the course of the season are going to count towards their total, and that means no matter where the drivers are currently in the championship, they've got something to fight for.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, of course, there's up to 5 or 6 drivers who are fighting for the championship, but even guys down the back, you know, they're still fighting for their seat and their livelihood next year. So there's always something to play for.
Yeah, and there are drivers out there that we expected to do really well this season and haven't quite performed. Maybe this stop-start nature of the year's had something to do with it. Maybe it's been playing on their minds somewhat. And there are some drivers that are absolutely flying away that we didn't expect as well. So it's absolutely fascinating. And qualifying was fascinating earlier on today. Here's what happened. The first of 2 qualifying sessions and 2 races at Suzuka did not disappoint. Q1 saw 2-time champion Naoki Yamamoto go fastest, but a shocker for championship leader Ryo Hirakawa, as engine ignition problems for him meant he didn't even make it out onto the track, so he starts from the back of the grid. Yamamoto's teammate Nirai Fukuzumi going fastest in the second group of qualifiers, but no such luck for Kondo Racing, with both cars out in Q1. With Hirakawa out in Q1, Nick Cassidy knew his chance to make up valuable points had come, but a disappointing lap for him put him out in Q2, as once again, Yamamoto reigned supreme. Into Q3 and the same story, Yamamoto dominating with an incredible time of 1:34.533, well over a second quicker than the previous fastest qualifying lap at the iconic Suzuka. A well-deserved pole for him. Najiri also producing the goods following his lights to flag last time out. He starts second and rounds out the front row. So the grid looks like this. Naoki Yamamoto on pole after that incredible lap, and Tomoki Najiri in second for Team Mugen. The second Dacomo Team Dandelion driver Nirai Fukuzumi, he starts third, and Kazuki Nakajima of Ventolin Team Toms, he starts fourth. The third row of the grid made up of Turasaki Makino from Nakajima Racing and Kamui Kobayashi of KCMG. Nakajima Racing second driver Oyu starts 7th and Sasahara starts 8th for Team Mugen. Yuji Kunamoto, the second KCMG driver, he starts 9th. Yuhi Sekiguchi of Team Impel on 10, but it's Nick Cassidy, the reigning champion, a surprise way back in 11th. Matsushita of Buzz Racing with VMAX, he starts 12th, another great start for him. Sho Suboi 13th on the grid for Inging, and his teammate Ishiwara starting 14th. Then it's the 2 Kondo cars, Sasha Finestras 15th and Kenta Yamashita starts 16th on the grid. Charles Malesi, the second of the Buzz Racing cars, in 17th place. Tatiana Calderon of 3-1 Drago course, she's 18th. Alshima, the only single car out there for Rookie Racing. And Ryo Hirakawa, the current championship leader, way back at the back of the grid. So it looked so good, didn't it? Najiri looked like he was absolutely flying. And then we got news that as they were heading to the track, to form the grid, well, to get out on track, really to start it all for the pre-race preparations. He stopped at the Spoon Curve. That means Najiri had done so well earlier on today, had to get out of the car and wait to be picked up. There you go. It's not quite what he wanted to see.
This is disastrous for his title hopes. You know, before this weekend, he wasn't even on our radar, but then he came out with a lights to flag victory in Autopolis and really vaulted himself into the championship conversation, and then backed that up with a fantastic lap in qualifying to be on the front row of the grid, and now this. So he's clearly got mechanical issues. But they say that if he does get the car going, then he will have to start from pit lane.
Yeah, absolutely. So that means the grid is going to look very, very different when you're thinking about Yamamoto, pole sitter. It means he's got his teammate directly behind him. He's got no one just over his shoulder right now. He's got Nick Cassidy way back in 11th and Rio Hirakawa at the back of the grid. So Yamamoto must be thinking,
this is his lucky day.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a look at the points then, shall we, and see where all the drivers stand, because it gives you an idea, really, of how this is going to knock Najiri. Najiri won last time out at Autopolis. He started on pole. He won the race. 38 points to him. Yamamoto pole sitter here, 35 points. Cassidy on 40 and Hirakawa on 51. Gives you an idea of where it currently stands. We mentioned drop points. Now, as I said, the drivers' best 5 results over the course of this 7-round season will count to their total. So they can drop scores, but some drivers haven't made all the rounds, so they don't have the luxury of those rounds in hand. Hirakawa, for example, can still have 2 really good races tomorrow and Fuji, maybe even today, and still be in a good shout and have contention for the title.
Yeah, it all gets a bit confusing, especially at home if you're watching, with the drop scores, and it's a very unusual situation. We don't normally have drop scores, but because of the situation we've had with COVID this year and drivers missing races, to make it more of a level playing field, they have introduced this drop score system, and that's where it does get a bit confusing. But
we'll get the calculator.
Yeah, we'll get the calculator.
Don't worry. Don't worry about that. Now, one driver who's been doing brilliantly in the last few rounds, third 2 races ago, second last time out, is Naoki Yamamoto. He's on pole in this one, and he is a driver who really is on the rise.
シーズン序盤は、少しポイントを取りこぼすことが多かったんですけども、ここに来て、スゴオートポリスと、連続で表彰台に、立つことができて、上り調子でここまで来ることができています。結果を残せば、大きくチャンピオンシップをに近づく大きな一戦になると思っているので、ここは自分の中では大きい2戦になると思っています。今回2レース制といっても普段行われている2レース制ではなく、もう単独で第5戦第6戦と1戦ずつ行われるということで、土曜日の結果が良ければそのまま日曜日までうまく流れを持ち込むことができるでしょうし、逆に土曜日仮に失敗したとしても日曜日十分に巻き返すチャンスがあるということで、この2レース制に関しては、非常に前向きな気持ちではいます。何が何でもやっぱりチャンピオンを目指して一戦一戦しっかりと戦いたいなと思っていますし、ドライバーとしてはチームとともにベストな戦い方、走り方をしたいなと思っています。
That's brave, isn't it? That defensive move there of Nick Cassidy moves across. He seems to move across a fair bit, doesn't he?
And fair play to Yamamoto. He kept his foot in there and he got the pass done.
Now, I'll tell you what, Super Formula is a bit of a roller coaster, and this show so far has been a bit of a roller coaster because we've just heard news from Najiri that it was a software glitch and he is okay to start in second.
So he is back on the front row. So whatever we just said, forget that. Najiri is on the front row and we have got a race on today.
Yeah, sorry, we'll fix this in post, don't worry about that. Now, it means that Yamamoto, all that hard work, it's still got something for him. He's still on pole. He's still going to have that car length ahead of his rival Najiri, and Najiri's going to be looking
he has some pressure now.
He has a lot of pressure now, not just a bit, yeah. So he's going to be hoping that his teammate gives him a bit of a hand at the start of the race. Now, one driver that we're used to seeing perform really well in qualifying not so well in the race, but not through his own fault, is Sasha Finestras. Keep your eyes here on the red car on the right-hand side of your screen with the green front end. That is Sasha Finestras. This is Okiyama. Round he goes and bosh, straight off the track. Nakajima Racing deciding they're going to tag team him off there. So that is his second race of the season. His first race, he qualified second, finished third. This is stop 3, round 3. Keep an eye on him again in the middle, and this time it is Nakajima of Vincent Team Tom that's decided to punt him off the track just there. So that's 2 problems out of the 3 races for Sasha Finestras, and he qualified very high up in each of those races. And then we go to last race, Autopolis, and I'm not sure I can identify the problem with that car, Martin. There's definitely something wrong with it.
I can't quite put my finger on it, really, but something's fallen off that wagon.
Reliant Robin of Salts, I think. Yeah.
So,
lost a wheel, obviously, and so Sasha Finestras didn't make it past the 4th lap, which means in the last 3 races he's completed 4 whole laps and 2 corners.
Not much money bang for his buck, is it?
Not really. So this time out, Sasha Finestras would be hoping for great things, but it didn't go to plan. He didn't even make it out of Q3, which is so surprising for him.
Well, maybe this is the turn of fortune that he's always started at the front and been taken out. Now he's starting in the back, so this could be his lucky day.
Well thought out plan, start at the back, no one can hit you. I suppose that is a thought process. Now, we've mentioned Suzuka. It is iconic. It's a brilliant circuit. It's a classic circuit. It's fast and it's flowing. And to talk us through it, we've got Tatiana Calderon.
My name is Tatiana Calderon. I drive for Tribon Drago Courses, number 12 car. We are here in Suzuka, 5,800 meters, 18 corners, and you will ride on board with me. So we are in the main straight, one of the most difficult tracks, I think, and my first time in Suzuka, so of course, flat out, 6th gear, very quick first corner, flat out, then you just brake down to 4th gear for turn 2. And then we will start a very tricky part of the track with all the changing directions, really quick in 4th gear, almost no brakes, but if you miss the first one, you will miss the whole sequence, so it's very important to be very precise. Then a little bit of a straight here, just to prepare for a very tricky, I think one of the most difficult corners here. 5th gear, really, really quick on the edge. 3rd gear, really early on power as you go up the hill is very important as we approach the slowest part of the track. In 2nd gear, this hairpin traction is always a bit of an issue there, but you have to really get a good exit as we approach the spoon. Really quick corner again, in 5th gear, the first part, then the 2nd part down to 4th gear. And then you really need to focus on having a good exit as we go to the 2nd biggest straight. If you can use your overtake button here, it would be really good. 130 flat out. The downforce of this car is really incredible. Easy flat, and then really tricky, hard braking, the chicane to have a good exit at the end. You're always fighting the rear after a long lap. And that's the end of the lap, flat out, and yeah, one of the most enjoyable tracks I've driven so far in my career. This was the track, so make sure you don't miss any of the action after the break.
Here we go then at Suzuka for round 5 of the Super Formula. 2 rounds this weekend. It is the big double header. This doesn't normally happen, but this year it's happening. So COVID has brought something very unique to Super Formula. It's double header and dropped scores. So drop points are going to count, and it will all come into play really come tomorrow. But we'll know exactly where we are when it comes to the championships. Maybe after this round here, as the drivers set off on the formation lap, and Najiri hasn't got going again, so they had that software glitch.
Seems to be reared its ugly head again, so this is not going to plan for him.
So he's not going anywhere, which means he's going to start from the back of the grid.
Yeah, so this will be a pit lane start if they do get going, but this is the second time this car's broken down in the last 10 minutes, so
which is so surprising because it was working so beautifully in qualifying.
It must be a Windows 98 issue.
Just Control-Alt-Delete, everything will be fine. That is a shame.
Heartbreaking. This could be his whole season up in smoke, but here we go. He's got going, but this will mean it's a pit lane start for him.
That is a real shame because he's had such a good race last time out. But Autopolis, with that lights to flag, qualifying second here today.
So that whatever we said in the pre-show is now correct again.
Just rewind. We'll just snip out all the bits that we changed. Oh, look at this. This is incredible. Yuhi Sakaguchi is off the track on the formation lap. What is going on?
Now, chaos ensued.
So Yuhi Sakaguchi parked up, or stopped for some reason, on the side of the track. This is one of the Team Impul guys, the teammate of Ryo Hirakawa.
I don't see any tyre skids on the track, so I don't think he lost it. This may be. Oh, here we go, replay.
Have a look. Keep your eyes on the top screen.
He's just pulling over. Yeah, he's got another problem, so we don't know what that could be. But
zero
we'll find
power.
out.
He just seemed to be rolling to a halt, didn't he? And off he went. So we've got Najiri starting, not starting, and now we've got Sakaguchi who's starting, now stopping.
That looked like it was stuck in gear, so it could be it's probably electronic.
Oh, this is so frustrating for these poor drivers when they get to this stage and they think, okay, yeah, we feel your pain.
He's not happy.
Sheena does not want the camera in his face. There you go.
He's one angry man.
Yeah. We can still hear him, and we're on a camera miles away.
I think we should get our translator to give us a few words, but I don't think we can say them on live TV.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a very much a delayed start, so these cars are just weaving around. They're going for a second formation lap. 30 laps, the race format, as you see. Because this is a double header, what they've done is they've slightly reduced it, so it's a 70-minute rule, not 75, so they've dropped 5 minutes off the maximum length of the race. So 30 laps or 70 minutes, depends which one comes first. That's 174 kilometers. OTS, let's talk a few technicalities here then, Martin, before the race starts. So
OTS,
on the top of these cars, you'll see...
Overtake system.
Thank you, yes. They have this green light, the roll hoop of the car. You can see each one of them got a little bright green light. That is indicating OTS, overtake system. How does it work?
So basically, the OTS is operated from the steering wheel, and it will increase the fuel flow, the fuel rate to the engine. So giving a driver up to 100 seconds of extra 50 horsepower, and you can press it once, and then it activates for 8 to 10 seconds. You hit the brake, and then it deactivates. So after you press the button, the car will wait 8 seconds, and then it will flash like a flashing green LED, and that indicates to everybody that the OTS has been activated. So who's this? This is another car off.
No,
sorry.
Still Sakaguchi, yeah.
I've not had my coffee yet, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so as Martin's saying, essentially the driver presses a button, they get an increased fuel flow, which gives them more power. And the way we see it is that green light starts to flash quickly, and that means they've deployed it. But we don't see that happen until 8 seconds after they've pressed the button. So if they're holding it down for 10 seconds, we'll see it when they got right near the end of their use of the OTS. Then what happens, they have a slow green pulsing light, and that tells us that they're in this kind of this pause moment where they can't use it again.
Like a recharging.
So
after you've deployed the OTS, there's 100 seconds of where you can't use this. So there's a lot of chess going on, a lot of strategy going on, and you really want to use this to attack and pass the car in front, or you can also use it to defend. And the reason why they delayed the flashing lights was because when a guy behind was pressing the OTS, he would see the car in front would see that flashing LED, and he would also jump on the OTS himself in a defensive move.
Yeah.
So by delaying that flashing lights, it came as a surprise to the car in front, and then before he knew it, he was being passed.
If you're thinking, huh? Don't worry, as the race goes on,
it will all make sense.
All apparent, it'll all come, and we'll all be able to understand it in full glory. Tomorrow, actually, in the race tomorrow, they have a double amount. They have 200 seconds of OTS, so that's an attempt to make this race here at Suzuka slightly different tomorrow, different strategy. So the car's weaving, trying to get some more heat in their tyres. Martin, you always say this is okay, they're using this weaving technique, but it's best to just get on the brakes, on the throttle to
for me the best way to generate heat in the tyres is just constantly working that brake pedal, because the harder you work that brake pedal, you're just generating heat into the brake disc, and the brake disc will get up to like 500 degrees Celsius, so you're just radiating heat into the tyres. Whereas when you're screwing tyres on the track, all you're doing is superficially graining the top edge of the tyre, and you can also damage it.
Now, many people who watch this form of racing are well used to these terms of graining and that sort of thing, but anybody who's not used to it?
Graining is bad. It's like taking your tyre to a cheese grating. You're just grating off all the tyre rubber, and then the more you do that, the more damage you have, the less grip you have, and before you know it, you've destroyed the tyres.
Absolutely. You can see Yamamoto working his tyres there. We just had a quick look at his team manager, looking very happy man at the moment, because he's got drivers on first and third on the grid, but there is no driver in second on the grid, because that's Nigerian. He's going to be starting right from the very back, maybe even from the pit lane.
This is having huge implications on the championship.
Here's Hirakawa, the championship leader at the moment, and he goes round to the back of the grid. You see the brakes starting to cook at the moment. So Yamamoto starts in pole position, and he's got no one next to him. He's got his teammate directly behind him. Then it's Kazuki Nakajima. There's a lot of experience in these two drivers, in Yamamoto and in Nakajima. And Nakajima's keen to get ahead because he really wants to kickstart his season. Yeah,
he's had a difficult season so far, and he's really under pressure. He really needs to make a statement race. But for me, all eyes are on, could this be a delayed start?
Does look like it, doesn't it? So we know that we've got Nigiri in the pits, starting from the pits. And another formation that we enjoyed it so much last time.
Let's just do one more.
We'll do another one. Is this a good thing for the drivers to have another formation now? Gives them more chance to get heat in their tyres.
Yeah, more heat tyres, but it also builds the anxiety level, because you've worked the tyres hard, your adrenaline level is spiking. Yeah. So right now you've got another lap to build that adrenaline, and then all of a sudden you're going to be coming to the start line, and then your senses are in overload, and then that's just going to lead to mistakes. People will be going dive bombing and doing silly things. Yeah, we're told the race is now going to be 28 laps, so they've taken 2 off there for that. So around they go again. Looking at that, actually, the way the cars were formed, Nigiri was going to start at the back of the grid, not from the pits, which was unusual, unless they're going to send him in for the actual race start. Another thing that's interesting to see just there was Yuhi Sekiguchi wasn't by any means out of the way. He was out of the racing line and the runoff area, but he was still, kind of, the car was still very much... Yeah, and any time a car or
track side of the barrier,
rescue vehicle is on the track, you don't want to send cars live. You don't want to send them racing. Unfortunately, we know what's happened in Formula One, and it's not something that we want to repeat. No, and there we go. You can see him now moving him away to the other side of the Armco there, just getting him fully out of the way, and left hand down a bit, right hand down a bit, and he's through. There you go. So well done to JRP for that. I know that's respectable that they're putting the driver's safety first, and I'm gladly that we're taking an extra lap. We don't want to go live with vehicles on the track. No, absolutely. So now they're in 19.
and 2 of them are starting at the back of the grid, and we would expect them to be at the front of the grid.
But it's going to get interesting though.
It's going to make
2
it
championship
very
contenders are at the back of the grid.
Yeah.
First and third are starting at the very back.
And this circuit, you can see how narrow it is in certain points. Look how narrow it is there. I mean, it's
a proper old school track though. You know,
it really is.
This just reminds me of the glory days of Formula One in the early 90s. You know, Prost and Senna and Prost. You know, and all those memories of Suzuka and the championship being decided.
Yeah, and
it's really what got me into racing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's these sorts of circuits, and what's really nice from a racing point of view is if there is a problem here and a safety car comes out, it will bunch everything back up again. In the Super Formula, you do quite often see a safety car, don't you? So I wouldn't say we're not going to see one today. If I was a betting man, I might put a couple of quid down on them seeing at least one safety car as they go through for their second formation lap of 4. But they've done 3 actually, but they've done it in 2 stints. So this is their second of 2 for this particular formation lap. And when they come into position at the end of this formation lap, we will have a race on our hands. That's a rookie racing car.
Oshima coming down pit road.
What's going on there? So we've got another car coming in, and
he may have an issue, so that we could be down a further car.
Yeah, let's just keep an eye on here as they jack it up. Oh, he's cut the engine
off.
Yeah. Wow, so Oshima looks like he might be out of this one then. Staying in the car, just going to check it out. Oh, hang on, they've got the affectionately known cattle prod at the back.
They're reaching down into the pedal box, so whether or not he's phoned in and he's found something wrong with something being left down there or something getting in the way of his feet. We can see the mechanics have just taken off one of those little portholes and is reaching down, taking a look.
Oh, okay, here we go.
There we go. So that won't affect him too much. He was starting on the back row anyway,
yeah.
so nothing gained, nothing lost there. But you know, they're just taking this opportunity there to check it out and clear up whatever was wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rookie Racing is a team that formed this season. Actually, it's a brand new team. And that was because at the end of last season, a couple of teams like Real Racing, they decided they were going to sort of step aside for at least 1 year. The chance with one of the teams, Real, they were going to come back in 2021. I don't know if that is going to be the case, because I know that the pandemic has changed a lot of plans, hasn't it, going forward. So we have to keep our eyes on that one as the cars come round into formation again. Formation on the grid, and it's going to be Yamamoto. Just to remind you, if you just tuned in to Red Bull TV, it is Super Formula, and we are round 5 of the Super Formula season. Then we've got round 6 coming tomorrow, the final round of the season, 20th of December from Fuji on Red Bull TV. You don't want to miss that one. So we're watching Naoki Yamamoto, the 2-time champion, taking up his place in pole position. If you look to the left-hand side of the screen, there is no one alongside him. The green car you can see there is Kazuki Nakajima. He starts 4th on the grid. So Yamamoto's teammate Fukuzumi is going to line up directly behind him, 3rd on the grid for Fukuzumi, which means Yamamoto has got a nice little buffer between him and anyone else. And his arch rivals in the championship, Cassidy starts 11th, Hirakawa and Najiri way back at the back of the grid as well. So here we go then. We're about to go racing, I think.
We hope. Third time lucky.
3rd time lucky. Let's see. Yes, we have a green flag. It's being waved. Lovely stuff. Good waving. We'll go 1 red, 2, 3, 4, 5 reds. Lights are out and we're off and running, and it is a slowish start actually from Yamamoto. He's okay though, I think he's got through. His teammate Fukuzumi doing a brilliant job of blocking. That was very well done, and I'm pretty sure that Yamamoto will be very grateful for the work his teammates put in there, because he really did a great job of blocking all the drivers behind. And looking at 3rd place at the moment, that looks like it's Makino. I think Makino stepped up to 3rd place at the moment.
And further back down the field, Hirakawa's already made up 6 places.
Oh, and off! There was a big off on the left-hand side there, a massive off. Here we see, I'm not sure who it was, but that is an absolute humongous off, and that is, yes.
That is Makino.
That is Tsurusaki Makino.
So that'll bring out the safety car for sure.
Wow, that was a big off. He just went straight on. There was no turn at all there.
Maybe there was contact there. We need to see the replay there, but that was a bizarre place to crash. But I was just saying there, looking at the start, Hirakawa had an amazing start. He jumped up 4 places off the line, got a few more into turn 1.
Yeah.
He's on a mission.
And actually, the safety car will play into his hands because each time it bunches everybody back up again. And looks like Makino's okay. Yeah, the roll hoops in these cars, the halo is just a brilliant thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
we saw it last time.
With those sponge barriers there, they will absorb a lot of the energy. They're backed up onto the tie wall, so luckily it's if you don't want to crash, but if you do, that's a nice place to crash.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I said that just a few minutes ago that I'd be quite happy to put a few pounds on a safety car coming out and just come out in the first lap.
Commentator's curse.
Well, you say that. I should have put a couple of pounds down, shouldn't I? But I didn't do that. So just checking him over here. Hopefully he'll be okay. Safety cars are going to come out. We'll probably have a few laps of safety cars. This is lap 1 of 28 Super Formula. It is quite often thrilling, isn't it? When it really gives you a race, it gives you a race.
It does. So after a bit of a slow start, we got going, bit of action, and we're already into our safety car.
I think we've had 3 or 4 corners of racing so far. I'd like to see the start of that race again because on the right-hand side, Yamamoto, he seemed to get away fairly pedestrian actually, but his teammate Fukuzumi did a brilliant job of blocking. He just put himself directly in the middle, had a little wiggle on at one point,
just put on the rear gunner move, just blocked for his teammate. So his job today is to defend and to keep Yamamoto safe.
Yeah, it's actually Kobayashi that's up to 3rd.
Wow, Hirakawa is up to 12th place already. He's made up 8 places.
There we go, straight on. Just look at there.
It looks all by himself, so
yeah.
Unless something broke, that is an unusual place to crash. We need to see that from another angle because it's a bit
only speculate. Yeah. But the way he went straight on.
He can't even factor in cold tyres because these are obviously tyre warmers now, so where he's gone off, I can't really say what's happened there, but it's a very strange place to go off by yourself.
The gravel would have slowed him down a fair bit as he went into that barrier, but he does seem to be okay. That's good to see. And we saw last week, didn't we, in Formula 1, just how incredibly strong these cars are and how they're designed to protect the drivers nowadays. They are quite incredible, aren't they?
Incredible pieces of kit, and these cars are very robust, designed by Dallara Automobile in Italy. They're some of the safest cars in the world, and the same technology used in Formula 1.
So Nick Cassidy is up to 7th now. Ryo Hirakawa up to 12th from the back of the grid. Najiri, well, down 13, but he's actually up a few. 15th at the moment. Kobayashi up 3 places, and he got a real jump on, though, on Nakajima. I think, well, Nakajima was getting blocked by Fukuzumi. Kobayashi just went.
That allowed Kobayashi to go around the outside. So this is game on. Hirakawa is not dead in the water yet.
No, absolutely not. But he's always going to believe, isn't he? He's a very level-headed racing driver, and he's always.
He's got that champion spirit about him. He's got that fighting spirit.
Whereas Nick Cassidy, a fantastic driver, reigning champion, he seems to always have to react to something that's happened in qualifying, that he hasn't performed well in qualifying, so therefore in the race he's having to react to that. Whereas someone like Hirakawa seems to be able to do qualifying and race.
Yeah, I like Hirakawa. He's a bit more of a full-rounded driver. Cassidy is very talented. For me, he's probably the strongest driver in race trim, but his biggest issue is qualifying.
So here we go. See. Fukuzumi. Oh, there you go. Kobayashi directly around Nakajima.
He thread the needle there from 5th to 3rd.
Did. So I thought it was down to the blocking work there, but from Fukuzumi. But actually, if you keep your eyes on Nakajima, he just got bogged down, didn't he? Didn't get away at all.
And just look at the top left corner of your screen there, the white car of Hirakawa.
Yeah.
He jumped up 4 places there and then gained another 2.
Straight past the Kondo boys, didn't he?
Turn 1.
Yeah, that was
a lightning start from Hirakawa.
Deadly on the inside. So Kobayashi, this is a driver who doesn't really need introducing, does he? This is a driver who's raced F1 around this circuit a number of times in his career. He's also just become the WEC champion, the WEC champion, isn't he?
Yeah, so he's wrapped up the WEC Championship last weekend in Bahrain.
First time for him. So
First time for him, but surprisingly, he has never won a Super Formula race.
It's incredible, absolutely incredible, because you'd think that somebody like Kamui Kobayashi would be one of those drivers that would have quite a few wins to his name. He's 34 years old. He's had 5 seasons in Super Formula.
He's been around a long time. Yeah, he's not exactly a rookie in this season, in this championship.
No. But he spent all his years in Formula 1 and things like that, so he's only actually done this is his 6th season, 6th year. So actually he's got about as much experience as some of the young guns.
No, there's like 20 drivers in the field, and there are 12 race winners and 5 former champions. This just shows you how deep the level of talent is.
Yeah. So Nick Cassidy up to 7th at the moment. He needs a lot more than this, but there's a long way to go in this race. We're only 3 laps into a 28-lap race. I imagine the safety car will be due to head in soon. Just having a look over the top of the shots here. Still the lights flashing, so he's still going to stay out.
Yeah, typically when the lights are on, obviously they're still going to do another lap. But they'll switch the lights off, probably heading onto the back straight, and that will indicate then that they'll pit that lap.
Absolutely.
In which case the leader then will just back the whole field up and try to get a jump. But I think we're due for at least another lap or 2 of safety
car's
car.
not moved at the moment. They've got this. It's weird. It's almost like one of those diggers or those things you can hire from a hire shop as opposed to one of the big boys, right?
Yeah, they need one of them big cranes, don't they?
They do,
just
don't
hoist
they?
it out the way.
Some sky hooks would be useful. So let's have a look at let's do a quick rundown through of the order. So Naoki Yamamoto leads the way. Nirai Fukuzumi, his teammate, is 2nd. Then it's Kamui Kobayashi for KCMG 3rd. Then Kazuka Nakajima in 4th. OU 5th. Kunimoto is in 6th, Nick Cassidy 7th, then we've got Matsushita 8th, he started 12th. So it's a good jump for him as well in the Buzz B-Max car. Sho Suboi won his first race of his Super Formula career this season at Okayama. He is in 9th, then Sasahara of Team Mugen, he's in the Red Bull car. Sasahara, his teammate, we mentioned a few times, Najiri, is actually in a car that doesn't look the same because liveries and things, but it's the same team. Finestraz up 14th, Yamashita 13th, Hirakawa 12th. That's a great start for Hirakawa, as you say. Charles Malesi back in 16th and Calderon 17th.
A lot of jumping around in the order already.
Yeah, it really has been. Keep our eyes on Ryo Hirakawa at the moment. Directly ahead of Ryo Hirakawa is Ishiura. Now Ishiura is a 2-time champion, and it's not going to be easy to pass, is he?
Oh, for sure not. But let's not forget that Hirakawa has been the fastest man in both practices and was the favourite going into qualifying, and he didn't even get a chance to do qualifying because of the technical problem. But this is a track where you can overtake, and whereas unlike Autopolis, where it was a bit processional, here there are plenty of passing opportunities with the overtake system, and of course with the pit stops, we may see a bit of a roll of the dice, a bit of a gamble. There tend to be 2 split strategies that happen in a Super Formula race. Sometimes drivers will pit straight away when the pit window opens around about lap 10. Others will stay out and get into clean air and run to the very end of the race, and then will pit on the penultimate lap when the pit lane closes. So it's going to be interesting to see who does what. Typically, guys who are at the front will want to pit early, get out and get it back into clean air, whereas guys at the back will stay out, gain that track position, and then try to push on and build a gap, and then just bank on there being no more safety cars.
Yeah, absolutely. So lap 10 is when the pit window opens. And they do have to do a mandatory tyre change, which is really great because it does force the issue, doesn't it? Because there's no refueling this season, normally is in Super Formula, but not this season. They brought in this mandatory tyre change, and it does mean that there is a strategy, an extra element to it.
It does. It gives you a bit of flexibility. You know, if you're stuck behind a car and you can't pass him, you can come in and try to do an undercut. You know, and what an undercut is if you pit a lap early, bang on a set of brand new rubber, which will give you an advantage for 2 or 3 laps. try and get some fast laps, and then you'll gain advantage when that driver pits. You've passed them, in the pit lane.
Yeah, absolutely. There is Makino.
Very promising talent for Honda. He's one of Honda's brightest proteges, but he's not had a great year so far. He's had some very bad luck. Taken out by his teammate OU at Okayama, which we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
That was bizarre circumstances. He's had some great qualifying sessions, and he had his first podium last time out in Autopolis. But things haven't been going all his way this year.
Yeah, and it's gonna. I'd love to hear what he's thinking right now. I'd love to be a little fly on the wall over there, but I imagine we'll get some words from him in just a bit. Restart is going to happen in end of lap 5, we're being told. So lights are still going. Yeah, so end of lap 5 for the restart. When you're a driver like Makino, and you are trying to impress, and you've done it in the past. You've had some good results. You had a podium last time out. You qualified 5th here. You had a 7th at Sugo, qualified 4th at Okayama. Is there a tendency to overstretch yourself or to push too hard because you're trying to get these results to, show off how good you are? Or is it a case of that you'll have some coach, some mentor saying, no, just relax, do what you do and everything will be okay?
I think a lot depends on your circumstances. As a driver, if you're a stand-in driver, where you're coming in for 1 race or 2 races, that's your only opportunity. And you will take risks because, you've got to make a big impression. And sometimes when you take risks, then you end up making mistakes. But, if for someone like Makino, who's a bit more secure in his job, he's got a longer-term contract, he can build up that progress.
Here is Makino.
As Kobayashi.
Oh, it's Kobayashi, sorry, yes.
I really want to win here at Super Formula finally, so I want to focus on this race as much as possible.
Oh, that's good to know. Well, clearly that was before the race, and he's not talking as he's going around.
Yeah.
Well, that was Kobayashi there before the start of the race, was giving us his thoughts.
Do you know what? He just looks so young. He annoys me.
He looks young, but he's not. He's 3 years older than me, and I look.
He's 34. He's still young. Let's not get into a fight about who's older and things like that, because I'll win.
Well, Kobayashi, though, he's probably one of the most talented drivers that I know. And a little anecdote, I was actually in a rental car with him about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It's never been so scared in all my life.
Well, I do know. Was he driving like it was stolen?
Well, basically, we were drifting a Vauxhall Zafira around the roundabouts and streets of Venice, and we were coming back from some race when I was racing for a Prema Power team in Formula Renault, and he was in Formula 3. Oof, yeah, I'm lucky to be around.
You're the local Venice authority. We can neither confirm nor deny those allegations that Martin's making right now. Do you know what? He's a driver. He's an incredible talent, but he's also so flamboyant that he can do so many great things, but he can lose it all in one moment.
There's no middle ground for him.
No.
He's just full attack all the time, risking everything every lap. And of course he will come unstuck. There's always excitement with him. It's either going to be on the pole or we're going to be in the barrier.
Yeah, absolutely. He's lived his career that way, and he's not done badly.
He hasn't, no. But with a bit of coaching, maybe he could have done even more. But people like Kobayashi can't be taught. There are some drivers who are very methodical, they're very conservative in their approach. Like a Yamamoto, he'll build up to the limit, find the limit, and then stay there. Kobayashi will come from 0, bang, find the limit, go over the limit, crash. But then they won't learn from the mistakes. Rebuild the car, out again, bang, find the limit, and then go over.
His parents own and run his family, even they run a sushi shop, don't they?
They do, yeah. A very famous sushi restaurant in Japan. I've never been myself, but I've heard a lot about it.
So here we go, getting ready for the restart. You can see now that Yamamoto is backing them all up. Now he's got a long way to back them up, hasn't he?
Yeah. So really, what he's doing now, he wants to build that cushion, and he wants to be able to control when he restarts the race.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, the safety car is going to peel into pit lane, and he's going to punch throttle to get the race started again. And luckily, he's got a teammate who's his rear gunner. So we were playing team orders, I would, if I was Fukuzumi, I'd probably hang back even more and to give my teammate even more.
Well, he's gone. He's absolutely gone. He's gone. His teammate has done exactly what you said. He's sort of held back a little bit. I'm sure there's part of that playing in the game for Fukuzumi, just to hold off Kobayashi as much as he can. Oh, and straight over. Who was that? Was that OU?
Nakajima. It was green Valentine Tom's car.
Oh, it was. You're right. Yeah. So maybe tyres not up to temperature, missed a braking point, something like that. I don't know, looking the other way. Who knows? Over in the back of the picture there's another overtake move going on. Because it's condensed pack, because of the safety car, it's going to be a fair bit of drama as this all starts off again. And they're all filing through. Yeah, it looks like they've all filed through at the top end, which is good to see. And Hirakawa has not gained yet on his 12th place. He stays in 12th. Wow, Yamamoto, great restart for him. Fukuzumi holding off nicely. Kobayashi there. It was OU that jumped Nakajima because of Nakajima deciding that he wasn't going to follow the racing track itself. He was making his own circuit up there for one corner, and why not?
Hirakawa all over the back of Ishiro right now. He's piling on that pressure, but not quite close enough to make a move. But if he can set him up for the back straight, get on the OTS, and get charging up the grid.
Yes, keep your eyes on the green roll hoop, the roll light above the driver's head. You see this green flash in your picture just there at the very top of the car, and that is the indication of the OTS, the overtake system, this increased fuel flow that gives them more power. They can use it for 100 seconds, as little as 1 second, as much as they want in each burst, but they only have 100 seconds. You see the slow flash there. That means that they have used it, and now it is essentially recharging before they can use it again. 100 seconds pause after you've used it the last time.
What a lap from Yamamoto, though. He's already pulled out a second lead over his teammate. Built a nice cushion here so he can really get his head down. He doesn't need to focus in the mirror. He can just look after them tyres and build a nice cushion.
Yeah, and we can see some flashing green lights, some fast flashing green lights. The Kondo Racing guys. Oh, and that was that's Sasahara there trying to get himself around. Didn't quite make it through, but nice effort. And that's on Sho Suboy of Inging, just up ahead of him. So the OTS really does add an extra element, doesn't it? Because with the delay of the light coming on last season, as Martin said at the top, you press the button, the flashing light starts up to tell all the drivers around you what you're doing. Now there's an 8-second pause, so you can already get the jump on before anybody knows what you're doing.
Absolutely there. I think now people will start to settle into their rhythm. You know, the time to attack is now, and while tyres are still cold.
Yeah, and there will be mandatory pit stops from lap 10. Would you get it done, or would you wait and see if a safety car comes out?
If I was Hirakawa right now, middle of the pack, I would come in as soon as possible. It's all about clean air. You've got to get yourself in clean air to be able to put in fast times. When you're stuck behind a car in front, you're just losing downforce, you're just losing time. So depends on track position where you are. If he finds himself in clean air, I would stay out. If he finds himself stuck in traffic, I would come in as soon as possible. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, Hirakawa, if you're looking at his lap times, 1:41.713. Well, Yamamoto put in a 1:39.52, so that's the difference between stuck in the middle of the pack and leading the way with no one in front of you. You can really get your foot down and just go for it, punching your way through that air. There is Kobayashi, and directly, OU, and directly behind him that's Nick Cassidy, on Kunimoto. There you go. I'll get it right in the end, don't worry about that. Nick Cassidy with Kunimoto ahead of him. That's the Venton Team Tom, team director. So I'm not sure if he'll be happy or not so happy with what's happened so far. I'm watching one of his drivers go backwards slightly, and Nick Cassidy start to work his way up the order.
Yeah, just a mistake there from Nakajima at that restart. I think he just outbraked himself, locked up, went through the chicane and lost the position, but that's really put him on the back foot right now, and it's going to be hard for him to regain that place.
Here is Kamui Kobayashi, hoping for big things in this race. Well, he's got himself up to third. Started 6th on the grid.
He's running a lot quicker than Fukuzumi up ahead, but he just can't quite get close enough into the gearbox of the car in front. You know, he needs to push on, put pressure on Fukuzumi, and force him into a mistake.
Yeah. he could do with a podium, you know. He's not had one yet this season.
Now this is by far KCMG's strongest race of the season so far. You know, running 3rd and 6th place. You know, they've been running at the back all year, so this is going to be a much-needed boost for this team.
Well, it's a circuit that Kobayashi knows very well. It's a circuit that Kunimoto knows very well. And do you think the fact they've got 2 cars now and they can swap data and work it through, they're starting to get to grips with it now?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, it's been a horrible, you know, difficult year for them. But yeah, I think now that they are finally starting to gel together.
Ryo Hirakawa has now fallen back down to 14th. I'm not sure if he's got a problem, but he was, I mentioned his lap times just a few moments ago. He's running about half a second slower than Najiri, who's directly ahead of him on track.
Didn't see what happened there, but yeah, potentially he's run wide and lost a few spots.
Yeah. Yamamoto puts in another stonker of a lap, a 1:39.342 last time out, and he's just pulling away now, isn't he? He's gaining around about 0.3 of a second per lap.
The gap now up.
There was Hirakawa.
Just getting passed by Najiri.
No, his front left. Has he got a problem? No.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it was just the angle it was at. I'm going to blame the angle. All right.
Let's go with that.
So the Kondo Racing boys, Finestraz and Kenta Yamashita, well, they'd have been hoping for a big improvement, but Finestraz is 15th at the moment and Yamashita is up to 12th, so it's not really been a blistering start for either of those two.
Very surprised about Hirakawa dropping back. You know, I just don't think he had a fantastic start, but something's not quite right with that car. You know, he's falling back lap by lap. He's about to come under pressure now from Yamashita.
Yeah, I mean, about to be. He's got the pressure, isn't he, straight away? So I think this might play into what you were saying. He'll probably, I thought he might dive into the pits, but he'll probably go into the pits straight away. As we look here, that's the Buzz Racing car, and behind him, straight away, the Benson Team Tom's car of Nick Cassidy. We're watching Nick Cassidy. That's the green car in the middle of the picture. That's Nick Cassidy, the reigning champion. Ahead of him, that is the Buzz Racing with B-Max car of Matsushita. Made not his debut, but his return to Super Formula after a 1-year absence last time round. Started 6th, finished 6th at Autopolis, and he looked really good, didn't he, Matsushita?
Matsushita's on a charge. You know, of all the cars, he's probably the only one going forward right now. Talking about making an impression, he's just passed the reigning champion on track.
Yeah, absolutely. And Yamamoto now leads by around 2 seconds over his teammate Fukuzumi. He's doing a brilliant job of kind of letting his teammate maybe move away, holding back Kobayashi a little bit. But looking at Kobayashi's lap times, Kobayashi is running a little bit quicker in the main, but Fukuzumi is just maintaining that gap.
Very commanding lead so far, you know, very professional performance.
Here we go then. So if you've never seen a Super Formula pit stop, you're in for a treat now. Oh, hang on, slowing down on track. That's one of the Dandelion boys. That's one of the...
Can't see who it is.
That is Fukuzumi. Fukuzumi is slowing down. That is... Well, that's not what they want, is it at all? So Fukuzumi from Dandelion, Tacoma Team Dandelion, is slowing down. He's going to be pulling off into the pits, presumably, as we look into the pits right now. So keep your eyes on this incredible pit stop action, because they have a limited number of pit crew. It's not like Formula One where they have just about 45 people on the car. They have a limited number, and they would normally dance and jump all over the cars. Refueling isn't happening this season, but it would normally. And it's kind of a quite a nice sort of dance movement that happens. Pit stops here we think are going to take around about 34, 35 seconds. There's Hirakawa on the bottom right hand side in that little picture-in-picture, and he's being held at the moment around 30, 35
Hirakawa.
Yeah. So Nick Cassidy still stuck behind as he was before. We're going to see more and more pit stops. So he's on the attack now. Nick Cassidy is really going for this one. Oh, that was brave on the outside to the inside.
Finally gets the move done on OU there.
Yeah, that was a great move, wasn't it? It was brave sticking to the outside. He knew he had the inside for the next turn, though, so he kind of played a blinder, didn't he?
That was a mega quick stop there from Valentin Team Toms. I think he needs to buy their team a few beers.
Yeah. And there is Fukuzumi in the pits.
Very troubling there. Yeah, it looks like more software issues with this car. The engineer's got the laptop plugged in, but he just looked like he just lost drive.
Now, is that a concern if you're Yamamoto? Are you being told this, or are you being kept in the dark?
I'd say you'd be kept in the dark, but it is very concerning if you're the team boss. If it's happening to one of your cars, it could happen to the other one.
Yeah. So Ria Hirakawa has gone into the pits, as has Nick Cassidy. Fukuzumi is currently in the pits, as we know. Oyu's in the pits, or been in the pits. Matsushita's been into the pits as well. Sasahara's been into the pits. I think he's the highest up of the drivers who's been into the pits so far. Yeah, Sasahara up there in 9th at the moment for Team Mugen. As we look now at who's in the pits right now, in fact. There you go. There is Sasahara. He's in the pits. There is his pit stop. It was shown on our screen as into the pits, but there he is. In and out he goes. Showing the hand early, a lot of these teams, aren't they now? As you were saying, get it done, try and get out with some clean air as best you can. Buzz Racing going through there, that Max car. And Cassidy comes out behind Sasahara.
Now he's got to attack here. This is the moment to make the move. Sasahara's come out on relatively cold tyres. Nick's already done a lap, he's up to speed.
Yeah.
He's got to make a move stick this lap.
Sasahara's had a really good chance this year, hasn't he? Because of no Yuri Vips not coming into the championship for various reasons, Sasahara's had probably the biggest chance of them all.
He's had a golden ticket handed to him. His whole single-seater career was over. He'd gone off to do Super GT and race in the sports car world. Then, of course, Vips can't travel to Japan. He fills in for the first race, and then it moved on to the second race and the third race, and before you know it, he's been handed the whole season in Super Formula.
Yeah, absolutely. So you see race leader Yamamoto now 3.5 seconds ahead of Kamui Kobayashi. Into the pits is Kunimoto of KCMG, so that is Kobayashi's teammate. Stops for 6.7 seconds, around about 35 seconds we think a pit stop from start to finish.
We talk about from line to line, so obviously 35 seconds is the time lost from line to line, but 6 seconds, that's quite a decent stop for Super Formula.
Yeah, absolutely. When you think about refueling, when you add refueling into Super Formula pit stops, they are around 10 to 12 seconds, so it's something they really do have to factor in. It's not this Formula 1 1.9 seconds, 2.2 seconds and it's done.
So he's back in status quo. He's back out where he came in, just ahead of Ishura and who else was that? Sasahara
is out ahead of him. So Rio Hirakawa, since that pit stop, is now dropping into the 1:38. In fact, 1:38.576, and that is the best of all so far. So Rio Hirakawa has, by having a pit stop, got the bit between his teeth now.
Maybe he just had a bad set of tyres. I think he probably had a flat spot, and he needs that new set of tyres now.
Top 4 still yet to pit. Kunimoto has pitted. Ishiura, Yamashita, Najiri, Finestras, Oshima and Malesi still yet to pit. Najiri, by the way, Tomoki Najiri, he's 8th. That is quite incredible because he started at the back. As we look at the number 7 car of Kobayashi. And this is a long pit
Very slow stop. Oh, that front left just can't get the wheel nut on. Oh, that's going to cost him a lot.
Oh, and he stalled. Oh no! Oh, he's got it back. Oh, he actually went, but it was almost an unsafe release, wasn't it? He had to stop because there was Nakajima ahead of him.
That's about 7 seconds he's lost there, and that's going to ruin his day.
Yeah, isn't it just? So that actually means that because of that very slow pit stop, Nakajima's got the jump on him, and so he's lost that place. He's now, well, Buzz Racing have gone through with B-Max, and so has Sasahara gone through as well. So that slow pit stop for Kamui Kobayashi has really sent him tumbling.
So from 3rd to what's going to shake out to be around about 8th or 9th place when all the pit stops are done. So not a good pit stop for him.
No, and he's right on the back doing all he can to try and keep in contention. There's Nick Cassidy. The green car, that's the Ventolin Team Tom's car, the reigning champion with that little red stripe across the front. Slow green flashing light, which means that Nick Cassidy has used OTS. He's going to have to wait before he can use it again, and he's used it in a place where you wouldn't get the most benefit from it necessarily because you've got the shortest time.
So race leader Yamamoto coming up to lap traffic already. Just coming up to tail of Tatiana Calderon, and you can see him weaving on pit road there just to get into her mirrors and let her know that he's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. As we go to well over halfway on this race distance now, lap 15 of 28. Have one safety car come out for the first lap. That was after a delay.
Now Yamamoto needs to be careful here because although he is leading by a long way on track, the guys who have already pitted are laying down some really fast times now, running about a second lap quicker than him. So although he may not know it, they're also reducing that delta time to him so that when he does his pit stop, he may lose out.
Yeah, Ryo Hirakawa's putting in some pretty impressive times at the moment. He's 141's that last one actually, but he's going a bit quicker than the guy ahead of him, which is OU. Nick Cassidy is ahead of him. So actually, the way it stands at the moment, this championship is wide open. Hirakawa 15th, Nick Cassidy 13th. Najiri is 6th, and he's yet to pit. And Yamamoto is 1st, and he's yet to pit. So it's impossible to tell which way this is going to go, this championship this season. It's just all over the place, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. There's too many variables right now, and there's too much that can happen. You just got to treat each race as it comes, and nothing's over until the checkered flag comes out. So
you don't think, even now, Yamamoto will be told anything about his teammate and his teammate's car, apart from he's out of the race?
I'm sure he'll know about it, but they probably won't say the reasons why.
Yeah. Shows Suboy up to 2nd at the moment in the Inging car.
Whoa, what a move by Hirakawa.
That move there by Hirakawa around the outside of the hairpin.
So Cassidy was putting the block on OU. That compromised both of them, and then Hirakawa saw the opportunity and then just went right around the outside of both of them.
And I think OU's gone past Cassidy as well. He has, yes. So Cassidy, by doing that, has dropped 2 places, and crucially, one of them to his arch rival in the championship.
That was very opportunistic there by Hirakawa, and for me, that is top draw move by him.
Oh, but look at this. Cassidy is coming back again. Cassidy alongside OU. Cassidy's got the inside. Cassidy is going to make this one stick. The green light flashing away. He used OTS. OU thought, you can use it. You can use it. Get ahead of me. It's not a problem. That was an incredible couple of corners, that maybe one lap there from Nick Cassidy. You saw the very best and then almost the very worst of him there because of Ryo Hirakawa putting the pressure on. I think really we can put that one down to Hirakawa doing a fantastic move.
That was just really alert from him.
Yeah.
He saw the 2 guys ahead fighting.
But to go around the outside on the hairpin,
for me, that was just top level, top draw stuff.
Yeah.
We saw Cassidy put the block on OU. They were both compromised, going slower into the corner, into the hairpin. He saw the opportunity, saw the space on the right-hand side, and just dived into it. Dove, whatever.
I have trouble with that one as well, don't you worry.
He dived into the corner.
He dived into the corner, why not? We'll go with it. If it sounds okay to you, it sounds okay to me. So there we go. We got Nakajima in 8th. He's really fallen backwards, and still quite a lot of drivers yet to pit. I'm not sure if they're going to be hoping for a safety car. Yamamoto, Suboy, Ishiura, Yamashita, Finestras, Nojiri and Milesi. That's the top 7. They are all yet to pit. The first driver who has pitted is Nakajima, Kazuki Nakajima, Ventolin Team Toms in 8th place. Kunimoto behind him. Matsushita, Sasahara, Kobayashi, they've all pitted. As we keep an eye right now on that Ventolin Team Tom's car of Kazuki Nakajima. As I was saying just a few moments ago, he's the first driver that's pitted, or the highest up driver who's pitted so far. Look at his lap times at the moment as well. 139s, 139s. You see he pitted there on lap 14. His best of 139.4. So he's really brought those lap times down in the last 2 laps since the pit stop. Has really played into his hands. Here is the current race leader, Yamamoto. His lap times are also sticking around the 139s as well, so he's yet to pit, but he's still got those nice low 139s, or has had nice low 139s with his best. Will we see him disappear off into the pits this time
I would
round?
suspect anytime soon. You know, that gap between the guys who have pitted and himself is coming down every lap. He's losing around about 0.8 of a second every lap to the guys who are on the fresh tyres. You know, yes, he's got a big lead over second place on the track, but we need to focus on the guys who are further down who have already pitted.
You've got to cut your losses sometimes, don't you?
You do. So
well.
sometimes you just got to pit now to undercut and to protect your track position. Because if you stay out on track, the guys who are on track, who have done the pit stop, are just closing you down. Yeah,
well, we saw his pit crew just getting into position now, so expect to see Yamamoto come into the pits at the end of this lap, lap 18 of 28. 10 to go.
Now, another thing will happen as well. The guys on the pit road have a radar, and they'll have calculated positions of where he will come out on track after the pit stop. And if they have projected that he's going to come out in traffic, they're opting to leave him out because they need to get him out in clean air so that he's not blocked by slower cars.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's used his OTS. Slow green flashing light, so it isn't that recharge phase as he now heads down from Spoon all the way down 130R.
Well, we were saying earlier that the pit stop lost time is around about 35 seconds,
yeah.
And look there, the gap's coming down to 37.2, I think it was, and you know, so he's only got a couple of seconds to play with here. So the longer he leaves this pit stop, the more in danger he is of losing the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. 37.6 is what it's saying at the moment on my screen.
And here he comes into pit lane.
Into the pits comes Naoki Yamamoto. I imagine Tsuboi Ishihara, they're going to start to follow suit unless they're praying for another safety car, in which case they're going to hope they're in exactly the right place at exactly the right time, aren't they? Seems like an age, doesn't it, when they drive down these pit lanes?
He needs a clean stop here.
He does.
Guys,
here we go.
To drop anything. So far, so good.
7.3. That's not a bad pit stop. That's not actually. And a massive off. That's one of the Nakajima Racing.
That is that is a BMAX Matsushita. Off in there. That looks like 130R. Huge hit there.
Wow, we'll wait to see that one again because that was a big off, wasn't it? So I think we might be seeing a safety car. And if that's the case, Yamamoto has played a blinder. You're absolutely right. You know what? I thought that was blue. I think I need to get my eyes tested. That's clearly Matsushita, BMAX, Buzz Racing.
Luckily, the driver's okay.
Oh, he went in backwards.
Something broke on that car. Did you see that one of the left rear wheels was up in the air?
Yeah. Safety car is out then. I mean, that is a strange place to go in backwards, isn't it?
So, yeah, something broke. We need to see that again, but to lose it there, something clearly is broken on the car. That is not a corner where you lose control of the car.
And it's also a very dangerous corner where he currently is parked up. So the safety car is going to be out, as we see. It is going to be on track, slowing these cars down right now for everyone's safety. Let's keep an eye on it as we go up past. So we're on board with Yamamoto. He heads up to 130R. And into the pits now. I imagine anybody who has yet to pit will be diving in right now.
Gonna show Tsuboi there coming in for new tyres. He may have just gotten away with this.
Not bad, 6.8. That was well, almost half a second quicker than Nakajima. Yamamoto. There is Sasahara in the Red Bull livery car. Kondo are now stacking their cars, look, because they only have one pit crew who are being held. Oh, naughty. So they had to stack their cars there.
Yeah, there's no other option because if you leave out Fenestres for another lap, you're pretty much guaranteeing him to go to the back of the field.
Yeah, so Ishiro out of the pits there. Nigiri as well. Then Finestraz, who's been stacked in there at the moment. So if we have a look at this current race order now, it's changed a fair bit, hasn't it? Everybody is pitted. Safety car is out. Waiting for our timing screens to fully update.
So we have Ashima and Calderon currently at the front of the field, but they're obviously not first and second, but they're just been trapped.
God, look at that. That's a bit of a mess, isn't it? Oh, easy on it. Oh,
Look at the rear wing wobbling. Puncture.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had a massive delamination of the tyre there.
Wow. Yeah, it's completely gone. That is a big off. Went in backwards, so that's a little bit easier for him, but
Something bigger than tyre went there, because it looks like the whole rim had come away from the car. It looked like, suspension had broken or something, but that was a huge failure on that car. Scary place to happen as well.
yeah, really scary, because that's flat out, isn't it? It's
It's easy flat out.
Yeah, you literally just have a little kink to the left as you go, and
With these cars now, the
Rely on
amount
the
of
downforce.
grip that you have and the amount of downforce you have, it's not even a corner these days. It's just an extension of the straight. Yeah, you can see that bottom left corner there. The tyre is exploded and
Yeah.
the whole rim is exposed.
ripped it off with it,
Yeah.
hasn't it? Yeah. He was just a passenger, wasn't he, when that happened? There you go. So that's a shame.
It's done so much damage to the rear wing. That would have flailed around and just ripped off that rear wing. So on top of not having a left rear tyre, he would have no rear wing, and he's turned in to 130R and it's just spun him around.
Yeah, real shame for Matsushita. Second race this season for BMAX.
It's going to be tricky for these guys to get it repaired and turned around. It's going to be a short turnaround time before qualifying tomorrow morning.
Yeah, absolutely is. So they're not waving anybody through at this stage. I wonder if they'll probably wave through the back markers once that's clear. Yeah, they go.
Yeah, they've been released.
Through. So Calderon's through as well. So there you go. Ashima and Calderon wave through. So they're going to have a bit of time to catch up the back of the train. So what does this mean for Ryo Hirakawa, who is currently apparently 7th? I'm just trying to look at the pit. Yeah, there is Ryo Hirakawa. He's 7th. And Nick Cassidy is behind him in 8th. So this has really helped out Ryo Hirakawa.
Very impressive stint. After that pit stop, he really got the bit between his teeth, and he made up a lot of ground. Most of the time gain, I think the turning point for him was that amazing pass around the outside of OU.
Brilliant move, wasn't it? Brilliant,
and
move.
Cassidy, and that just freed him up. That gave him that free air to charge into and put in some really fast times.
Yeah, absolutely did.
I know we talk a lot about drop scores, but for me, just getting points at the moment is key, because you can see with mechanical problems or crashes, anything can happen in Super Formula, and you just got to get some consistency. You've got to get points on the board, and you can't afford to have any no points.
Well, I looked at last season's results. We've still got the safety car out, so I might as well do this. I looked at last season's results to see if the drop score system would have changed anything, and Nick Cassidy won the title last year by 1 point. But it's a different point system this year. You get more points in qualifying as well. You get 3 for pole, 2 for second, and 1 for third. Well, Nick Cassidy last year, if you take the drop scores, take his best 5, had a first, a second, 2 thirds, and a fourth. And Yamamoto had a first, 2 seconds, a fifth, and a seventh, and actually would have finished still 1 point behind him. So this drop scores, you get some drivers who get a couple of really, really good results and then a few sort of middling points, and then you get other drivers who just go 3, 2, 4, 3, and they could be the one who snatches the title. So Ryo Hirakawa here at the moment is 7th. That would be for him one of his scores that he would have to keep at this stage in the season. And it's not necessarily going to be a bad thing for him either.
Lights are still on the safety car, so it looks like we're due for another go around.
Giving Calderon a bit of a chance to catch up, I think, as well, and Makino and Ashima as well. Safety car still out, lap 21 of 28. Two safety cars. Ryo Hirakawa has gone from the back of the grid to 7th in this race. Kobayashi, who was doing so well, has fallen down to 6th because of that long pit stop. And Nakajima, who also had a bit of a delayed pit stop, he's in 2nd. So it's weird how the safety car came out at the exact right moment for Nakajima and caused Kobayashi some real problems. When you're racing and you have these safety cars come out and you know that your pit stop's not worked, how frustrating is it for a driver? Do you have to obviously blank it out, don't you?
You've got to, yeah. I think you just got to accept your reality that you are where you are, and readjust your mindset and go to attack again.
Yeah. So we're looking at Matsushita right now.
Luckily, he's got a smile on his face. He's going to be a bit bruised in the morning. Very strange failure though. I'd love to know what happened.
It's not his ego that's been bruised though, so it's not one that's going to worry him too much. He'll get over those bruises. So everyone's pitted. We're on lap 22 of 28 here at Suzuka. First of 2 races this weekend in Super Formula here on Red Bull TV. We don't know where we're going to be with the championship when it comes to tomorrow morning when we finish round number 6. There's one more to come, 20th of December, and you can watch that here live on Red Bull TV. There are loads of other videos you can watch on Red Bull TV, by the way, Super Formula videos giving you the lowdown really of the championship, the car, the spec, the pit stops. You can watch every single qualifying, every single race of this season so far as well. So if you missed one and you want to catch it up, if you want to see Sasha Finestraz be taken out in 2 first corners, you can do that as well. Sugo and Okayama. It's all there for you on Red Bull TV, so why not check it out once this show has finished? Not now, obviously. So Yamamoto has got to do this all again. He's going to have to back everybody up, and that is exactly what he is doing right now. So the safety car disappears off into the distance, the lights are out, and so there is Yamamoto. He did like a little dummy run there, didn't he? And he's got behind him Kazuki Nakajima, Kunimoto, Sasahara, Sho Suboi, Kobayashi, Hirakawa, the white car in 7th place, the current championship leader. If he can gain a couple more places in this race, he will be ecstatic with this. Let's keep an eye now on Yamamoto. He's taking it easy. When's he going to go? He's gone. He's left, and at the same time, Nakajima read that one beautifully. Nick Cassidy forgot to put his right foot down. Nick Cassidy fell all the way back there, and I'm not sure, but I think OU may have overtaken Nick Cassidy. That was a really slow reaction from Nick Cassidy. Not sure what he was thinking there, but Yamamoto did not get the jump that he was hoping on Nakajima, the wily old racer Nakajima. He saw that one coming. Kunimoto is still with them as well. And Sasahara in the Red Bull car. You can see the Team Mugen Red Bull car in 4th place, right on the tail of Kunimoto.
Yeah, great restart by Yamamoto. He's really switched on today. Again, he's got a big jump on 2nd. Just gives him that bit of cushion, a bit of comfort there to settle into this race and not have to worry and look in the mirrors.
5.5 laps to go really, and it's all to play for. But are we going to see another safety car?
I hope not, no. 5 laps to go. Come on.
Commentators curse. I'm not saying we won't, not saying we will. So, Kobayashi in 6th. He was doing so well, running up to 2nd at one point. He's now down to 6th, and that'll be quite a frustration for him. Suzuka, this circuit was originally built back in 1962 as a Honda test track, and a Honda car is leading the way. Sho Suboi is right on the back of Sasahara. Keep your eyes to the top of the picture just there as you go into the first part of the spoon. The second part now, you see the Red Bull coloured car, then you have Sho Suboi in Inging Racing, and behind him is Kobayashi.
I would absolutely love it if Sasahara got a podium today. For me, he's the underdog, and he desperately needs a good result.
Yeah, and Sho Suboi is flashing red, so he's used pretty much all. Oh, almost outbraked himself, used all of his OTS. Kobayashi is right on his tail. He almost got the jump there on Sasahara, but he was using his OTS, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be out. What is going on here? Nick Cassidy to the outside. Oh, he had to react there. He had to react as Sho Suboi dives down to Hirakawa. Oh, a big smash. Oh, a big smash. And into the barrier goes Sasahara. That was a big one. Sasahara into the barrier, and Hirakawa as well.
That was never going to end well. 4 into 1 doesn't end. Oh dear, we've got Sasahara.
Oh, and Sasahara on the side, yeah. So we will have another safety car.
Let's just make sure everyone's all right.
Just keeping an eye on Hirakawa at the moment.
Yeah, Hirakawa's okay. He's getting out, so yeah, we're okay.
That was an absolutely massive one. That was Nick Cassidy to the outside. He had to react from Sho Suboi, who was trying to take his position as well. And then onto the right-hand side was Ryo Hirakawa going past them all on his right-hand side. And then from that was an absolutely massive off on what has got to be one of the fastest entries to a corner there is. It's a hugely fast entrance, isn't it, into the first corner on that first kink.
And this all started because coming out of the last corner, it was... Oh, mine's gone blank there.
Sho Suboi.
Sho Suboi was putting the defensive move on the car behind. They got bottled up. That sent Kobayashi to the outside. Hirakawa saw an opportunity to go and pass 3 cars, but 4 into 1.
Oh, and it was actually Sasahara. He moved across to the left-hand side a little bit too much, maybe given Hirakawa. He saw Hirakawa. He moved slightly to the left-hand side. There wasn't enough space. He then clipped Sho Suboi.
And then just
taps the back end.
Yeah, that sliced Hirakawa's.
And Kobayashi manages to make it through.
Very scary crash, but luckily they both walk away. You know, that's what we like to see.
Well, 4 into 1 just doesn't go.
That was never going to end well.
And Hirakawa, that is absolutely gutting for Hirakawa, because he, to all intents and purposes, got that move done.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. You know, he was definitely the aggressor there. He forced the situation, and I can't really blame him. As a driver, you see a gap, you've got to go for it. And he had an opportunity to pass 3 cars, but you've got to give a little bit more room for error there.
But I think that he stayed in. From my point of view, looking at that, I would argue that maybe he actually was keeping his line, and it was actually looked to me that maybe Sasahara moved over to the left when he didn't need to.
Yeah, but I want to see the replay again from my angle. It just looks like, knowing that you're on the inside of 3 other cars, you've got to give a bit more room, because you've got to give a bit of racing room, and I don't think he kept enough to the right-hand side. You know, you've got the inside line, you've got the advantage, but I just think he could have left a bit more room for error there.
Well, you're the expert. All I do is play is on the PS4, so I haven't got a clue what's going on. But I tell you something, Sho Suboi.
It was a mega risky move, but he had to go for it. I'll give him that. You know, there's an opportunity to go from 7th up to 3rd or 4th, and he took he took that opening. But in that situation, just got to give a bit more room.
Nick Cassidy has moved up to 5th. He's the
big winner here is Cassidy.
Winner here, yeah. Wow.
And Najiri. So Najiri, Cassidy now are back into some strong points.
That was a big one, wasn't it? That was a big incident on lap 24. I don't know. I think this might be finishing under the safety car, this one, Martin.
Sadly, I think you're right. You know, that was a big crash, a big cleanup. So only 3 laps to go.
And a big rebuild as well.
Huge. I think these mechanics are going to have a very, very long night.
Inging boys as well. They're going to have a rebuild on that one too. Oh, that's a real shame. Sho Suboi there. He went on the attack, Nick Cassidy then had to react and defend himself because he almost got slammed into slightly, didn't he? He almost got taken out by Sho Suboi. In the middle of it, Sasahara was just sitting there on one line. Then he moved over ever so slightly. Love to see that replay again. I'm sure we'll have a look at it at the end of the show, in the post-show as well. But here we go. So keep your eyes on Sasahara now. He keeps his line at the moment. Ryo Hirakawa, there's a fair bit of space. And Sasahara, there's a lot of space between him and Hirakawa. I think Sasahara moved over too much.
Yeah, Sasahara definitely didn't hold his line enough. You know, I think...
He just drifted, didn't he, towards Sho Suboi. That little tag on there spins him around. He only just clipped the end, the back end of Ryo Hirakawa, but it was enough to send him slamming into that barrier.
Just, I think the fact that Hirakawa was coming down his inside, that just freaked him out a little bit, and he just probably just shimmered over to the left ever so slightly, but not realising, or he should have realised, that there was still two cars on his outside.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Ryo Hirakawa was probably, I think he left the space. There seemed to be enough space. I mean,
there. Having seen that again, there was enough space.
You don't have to agree with me.
No, but I still would have left more, but I think that looking at it again now, I think that Sasahara has just overreacted there. You know, he should have kept a straight line. He's opened up the corner. Maybe that was because he was a bit spooked by the fact that Hirakawa was coming up his inside, and he's tried to give Hirakawa more space, but in doing so, he's triggered that collision.
I think you play that scenario out 10 times, maybe once all four cars will come out that first corner.
Yeah.
I think 9 out of 10 are going to end up at least one of those cars coming out.
The margin for error at this sort of speed, at these closing rates, at the speed they're going, it's ridiculous. You know, just the fractions of a second.
And 20 cars, 26 laps, has been whittled down to 13. We've lost 7 cars in this race.
Well, you can't say it's not been enough action.
There's been action. It was a slow burner to start with because of the 4 formation laps and then the safety car in the first lap. But I tell you what, Super Formula, when it gets going, it is absolutely incredible, riveting stuff. And if this has got your juices flowing, then you're in luck, because you don't have to wait a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks for the next race. That's happening tomorrow morning.
Set your alarm clock.
Yeah, exactly. Myself and Martin are going to be back here for that one. And I tell you what, I cannot wait. I absolutely cannot wait. Ryo Hirakawa is going to need to fix this. He's going to need a result tomorrow.
Well, the team need to fix the car first, I think.
True. And they've got 2 cars to fix as well.
Yeah.
So we are on lap 26 now. It does look highly likely that we're going to finish under this safety car. Being told they're going to restart with 1 lap to go. So we've got a 1-lap sprint race, all or nothing.
I can't take it anymore. I'm not saying anything. I'm not predicting anything.
Who's going to win this race? Come on.
No. I'm sitting here and I'm watching this play out.
My money's on Kenta Yamashita. Kenta Yamashita, the Kondo racing driver, down in 9th place at the moment. He was, I think, 5th in the championship going into this race, and he was always an outsider for a chance to win it, but I think his chances of winning the title are still very much on the outsides. Ryo Hirakawa won't gain any points from this round. He didn't gain any points from the last round, but remember, it is a dropped score championship this season, so 5 results are added together, 5 of your results, 5 of your best race weekends, so qualifying and the race total. And here we go. The safety car goes in. We're going to get 2 laps. Yamamoto is going through the process one more time. Nakajima's seen this. He's been on this one more time. He's already had this once before. Is he going to respond any better? Kunimoto in 3rd, Kobayashi in 4th, Nick Cassidy in 5th. Now, Nick Cassidy forgot to respond last time round.
He was half asleep last time, so he's been given a second chance here to put things right.
13 cars on the track. Doesn't look like many, does it?
No.
That is the grid now. It was 20, as we say, down to 13, and off he goes. And Nakajima has responded pretty well as well. Kunimoto too, by the looks of things. He's right on the back of him, right on his gearbox, isn't he?
Yeah, and typically you can't overtake until you get to the start-finish line, so they're just setting up here.
But he's got to try and hold it. He's got to try and keep himself in contention, doesn't he? Here we go, there's the line. There's the flag and we're off, and you can see straight away that Yamamoto's got his green light flashing, and so has Nakajima.
And Cassidy around the outside of Kobayashi. Doesn't quite pull it off.
Kobayashi managed to keep the inside just there, running a little bit wide. Now, this is quite a fluid part of the circuit, isn't it, the snake? And if you get a little bit out in one corner, it does affect you for the next 3 or 4.
Yeah, it's pretty tricky. You've got to get the move done into turn 1. After that, then you pretty much follow the leader.
Yeah. So Nick Cassidy in the green car we're looking at right now, with the red front end, we're looking at him as we see Kunimoto. There's race leader at the bottom of your screen, then it's Nakajima, then it's Kunimoto, then Kobayashi, then Nick Cassidy, who's pretty much now out of OTS. Behind him is Ishiura, and Najiri in 7th. He says he's down 5, but actually started at the very back of the grid, remember, because of that software failure.
Cassidy's all over the back of Kobayashi here.
So as we head now into the final lap, where he really uses the width of the track, doesn't he, Cassidy, on the exit of Spoon Curve. And Yamamoto, it's like he's out on his own now, isn't it?
He's just got to bring this home. He's got to bring it to the flag.
Expect some fireworks into this last corner. Will Cassidy accept a 5th? Will he take a 5th, or does he want more? He's got to be thinking about that, hasn't he? I think you take 5th.
I think you do. I don't think the risk reward is there.
No.
You know, for points, if you get 4th, it's worse to lose it all than to gain an extra point.
And round the outside, no, it was a good defensive move there. I thought we were going to see an overtake there from Najiri on Ishiura, but him just slamming it at the door closed, I think. And Najiri couldn't get it done. Najiri hoping to gain that one more precious position, gain some more points to his haul in round 5, which he really needs. After that fantastic result last time out at Autopolis. We are into the final lap, and Naoki Yamamoto is reigning supreme. He has been absolutely untouchable this weekend so far. He won here just a couple of years ago, 2018. He won back in 2016 as well. And he looks set to win this one. He's had a 2nd, he's had a 3rd this season too. That puts him in a very, very strong position for the title as the other cars are filing through right now. We head down the back stretch through 130R. Keep watching them file through. Here is the race leader going into the final parts of this circuit, into Casio Triangle, into the last curve. Here we go, last curve, and Naoki Yamamoto goes through here at Suzuka for the first time this weekend. He takes the win. That is another win for Yamamoto, his 2nd win in 3 years here at Suzuka, and that was a race he essentially controlled from start to finish, but he has controlled that since the moment he showed up here at Suzuka on Thursday.
Complete dominance there, great drive for Yamamoto, led from start to finish, didn't put a wheel wrong. He controlled every restart beautifully, protected himself, and did a fantastic job.
Absolutely incredible drive him. There you go. The happiest team boss we have ever seen, I think.
He was a bit stressed before the race, so I think he can let his hair down a little bit now.
Yeah, look, we're happy for you. We are happy for you. Well done. There you go. Happy for one of his drivers anyway, Yamamoto. Great results for him. Not such a great result for Fukuzumi, ending up right at the very bottom of the DNF. But what a great result for Yamamoto, and that really does improve his chances of winning this championship immensely. A lights to flag for him, maximum points, 23 points he's just gained back on the championship.
This flips the whole championship on its head now. You know, Hirakawa is no longer the strong favourite.
Puts him on 55 points now.
Puts him right up there with Hirakawa on points.
Yeah, put him on 55 points to my quick maths. This could be wrong, by the way. Hirakawa is still on 51, but the drop scores are still going to come into play. So Ryo Hirakawa has got a chance now. In fact, really, it doesn't really matter, because Ryo Hirakawa, whatever he gets now, is going to be his total. Yeah. So going into this one, Ryo Hirakawa is no longer in charge of the championship. in fact in charge of the championship, well and truly, is Naoki Yamamoto. That is incredible. It's really flipped in one race. And we've got another one like this tomorrow, Martin, so it could flip back the other way. It could go anywhere, couldn't it, this one?
It's definitely a week to remember for Yamamoto. He wrapped up Super GT Championship last week, overtook Hirakawa coming to the line with Hirakawa running out of fuel, and now he's gained the advantage on him, on his nearest rival in the championship.
Well, the two form drivers at the moment in Super Formula is this man, Yamamoto, with a first, a second and a third in the last 3 races, and Tomoki Najiri, who's had a 4th at Sugo, a lights to flag at Autopolis, and a 7th here.
We said in the pre-show that Yamamoto was on the rise, and he's finally risen to the top now.
I think he's made a yeast at the moment. He's absolutely rising.
He's done. Put a fork in it.
He's ready to put him in the oven. I tell you, this guy is on fire. It's brilliant. It's been a fantastic, fantastic performance from him, and there was a moment where I thought he might be in doubt with the safety cars coming into play. He hadn't been into the pits. He then went into the pits. The safety car came out. They just got that in, just in time.
It was perfect timing for him. You know,
Yeah.
it was part luck, then judgment, but he'll take it.
Oh, absolutely he will, yeah. I think he's happy. I think he'll sleep well. Somebody who won't be sleeping well tonight, I'm pretty sure, is Ryo Hirakawa.
He must be thinking, where's it all going wrong?
He was 7th. At one point, he looked like he could have gone to 4th. If that move had stuck, if he hadn't been just clipped, he would have been 4th. And that is the difference, isn't it? Ryo Hirakawa finishing 4th today.
2 or 3 inches difference.
Yeah, and Ryo Hirakawa finishing 4th here today, and he would still be well and truly in control. So Naoki Yamamoto, he's been such a formidable racer so far here at Suzuka. Round 5 of Super Formula here on Red Bull TV. As you see him get out, yeah, that is a happy, happy man, and I think well-deserved bubble bath tonight for him. We saw his team manager. Oh God,
Such a sigh of relief for him there.
yeah. The least elegant way of getting out of a car ever. Let's see how he's greeted by his team manager. That's great to see, isn't it? It's great to see such a good relationship between team manager and driver. And well, he recognises what he's achieved today, doesn't he? Fastest lap here ever in the Super Formula car at Suzuka. Absolutely smashed that record in qualifying.
He's a superstar in the series, and that's why they pay him the big bucks. You know, when he delivers when he's got to deliver.
Absolutely, and we're going to pick through all of that, and there was quite a lot to get through in just a few minutes here on Red Bull TV. Don't go anywhere. Well, there you go. There's a thing, isn't it? What a race. Welcome back to Super Formula here on Red Bull TV. We have just witnessed a quite incredible race at Suzuka and a lot of action, a lot of things to get through.
A lot of safety cars.
Yeah, a lot of safety cars. And we've got another one coming for you tomorrow. So if you enjoyed what you saw, and I mean, who wouldn't, make sure you're back tomorrow morning. We've got it all happening again. Round 6 of Super Formula. But let's talk through this then. The result of this one was quite a big thing when it comes to the championship. And as you see here, Naoki Yamamoto leading the way in that one. Nakajima second, Kunamoto third, Kobayashi fourth, Nick Cassidy fifth, Ishihara sixth, Najiri seventh, Oyu in eighth. Then Kenta Yamashita and Sasha Finestra, the two Kondo racing guys, make it into the top 10. Doesn't help them for the points, but still, they got into the top 10, but mainly because only 13 cars finished. Charles Malesi, 11th. Oshima, 12th. And Tatiana Calderon rounding out the finishers here in 13th. So we lose Shosuboi, Sasahara, Hirakawa, Matsushita, Fukuzumi, Makino as well. That was, it was a race, wasn't it? It was quite a race.
How do you piece this together? I mean, there were some big winners, there were some big losers. For me, the biggest winner, of course, is the race winner, Yamamoto, but not just for winning the race, for where his opponents ended up around him. You know, the title contenders all had various roller coaster emotions of a day.
Yeah, and you know what? He was a brilliant performance from him. Let's find out what he thinks about his race.
And here you have Naoki Yamamoto from the Docomo team Dunlop Racing achieving a pole to win here. Thank you. Behind you it was a very chaotic race, but around you it was quite calm, or wasn't it? Well, yes, there were a lot of safety cars. It was quite a chaotic race, but I had a good start. And it was very important for me to keep being the leader. I did that, but in between also there was a back marker, there was a blue flag, so I wish everybody could have obeyed the rules. So I lost some time there, but yeah, it was a little bit a messy race. But I'm happy that I could win full points here, and it was a great race for me. And I'm really grateful for the team, for the engineers who built that great car, especially Mr. Tsugisaki. You're having a great momentum from last round. So you want to win next round too, right? Yes, sure. You know, normally I could go home with a win here, but this time we have the next race tomorrow, and there are a lot of drivers who were frustrated today, so they're in the mix again tomorrow, but I want to beat them all and win the championship. Thank you. Thanks for your support.
There you go. He's very happy, and quite rightly too. It was such a great race. But you said, well, there he is throwing Tatiana Calderon under the bus.
Yeah, he was not happy there about the blue flags. Apparently, blue flags were waved, and drivers weren't respected him. So I think he was getting very frustrated. And that's why we saw him weaving around there before the carnage unfolded.
Absolutely. So the points, Yamamoto now leading the way. My maths was correct. That's incredible, because I don't often get things right. Yamamoto leading the way, 55 points. Ryo Hirakawa, 51. Nick Cassidy on 46. Najiri on 42. Yamashita on 29. Remember, dropped scores do come into this. So after tomorrow's race, some of those drivers may change the points they've got, because they might swap out a 7 for a 1 or something like that. Who knows what it's going to be, but we'll get to that tomorrow. So Naoki Yamamoto now leading the way. And then we saw Nakajima with a great result today, really, with a second place. Another really strong performance for him, and Kunimoto as well. And so much action out on track.
Oh, where do we even start? You know, there was guys who were starting at the back. Hirokawa started on the back row after qualifying. Najiri started at the back because of that issue we had on the formation lap. So we had the championship contenders on the front row and on the back row.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we'll pick through more of the bones of this in just a second, but we've got the podium coming up. So let's see the drivers collect their trophies and smile for the cameras. Japanese. So there you see the podium celebration, the trophy presentation as well. It's sort of a strange presentation, isn't it, this year? It's just a case of there's a trophy, go and pick it up.
Yes.
But they're very happy with it anyway.
Now, look at the deer there, the trophy there. It's a deer with a bell hanging from it. A bit of fun fact here, Suzuka in Japanese means deer and bell.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've actually got one of them trophies. Not to form a brag, but
how did you get it?
Well, a long time ago, as a lad, I bought it off eBay.
Other auction sites are available, of course. So we've just seen Yamamoto. I want to find that story out a little bit later. Anyway, we just saw Yamamoto getting that top step, and what a great performance it was from him. It really was faultless, wasn't it?
He was. I mean, you can't fault him all. You know, from lights to flag, didn't put a wheel wrong, very commanding, and what a champion driver this is.
Yeah, everything that was asked of him, he had an answer. Every time they had a safety car, he had to restart, he backed them up, he got the lead, he pulled the head. He was never really compromised at any stage.
He really showed his class as a driver. You know, he's a superstar driver of the series, two-time winner, and he really showed his star quality today.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a brilliant, brilliant performance, and they just, you know, I think he wanted to get out there and hug his team at that point, didn't he? But there you go. He managed to stay in the car.
2 meters distance.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we go to Kazuka Nakajima. Now, if any driver out on that grid needed a performance, it was Nakajima, and he duly came up with one.
Definitely. I mean, he's really under pressure. He's been outperformed by his teammate for the last 2 seasons now. Been a bit underperforming driver, so he really needs this result to keep his profile high.
Which is tricky because he seems to perform so well in endurance racing at Le Mans and those sorts of things as well. So, you know, he's an incredible, incredible driver. And
he's getting up there in age as well. He's probably one of the oldest drivers in the field now. But if he's not careful, there are young, very talented kids like Ritomo Miyato, who we've seen a few races this year come in and have fantastic races. Well, you know, Nakajima was out racing in the WEC, so if he's not careful, he may lose his seat to a young driver.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a 2-time champion winning the race, 2-time champion came second, and then Kunimoto as well from KCMG filling out the top 3. They're great performance from him too. Now, the action out on track. Well, there were safety cars, there were crashes, there was safety cars, there were crashes. One of them, though, wasn't a crash, was this incredible overtake from Hirakawa, and it was just a brave move on Nick Cassidy, wasn't it?
It was. So we saw coming into the hairpin that OU put a defensive move onto Cassidy, and that allowed Hirakawa to dive around the outside and go around the outside of him. So probably not going to get to see the replay
There's
here.
Nick Cassidy on the inside here on the overtake. So he goes around brilliantly there. Look at that. He just held that one on so well, didn't he, Nick Cassidy? So Nick Cassidy showing that he has that he's a champion for a reason. He's a one-time champion. He's the reigning champion of Super Formula, heading off to Formula E next season. So there was Nick Cassidy, the overtake from Hirakawa. I'm not sure if he got that one, but it was a brilliant move at the hairpin. And then Hirakawa had a big problem, which kind of come to that in just a second though. Before that, Matsushita out on track.
Bizarre, very strange failure there.
Yeah.
Looks like left rear suspension or a tyre failure. It's just blown up and it's just delaminated and destroyed the left side of the car.
Yeah.
And big impact into the barriers at 130R.
Huge impact.
So he's going to be very, very bruised in the morning.
So it was almost like it just a tyre blew and it just caused him to spin and go. So he went in backwards. That was a bit easier, I suppose, for him to take. But tough for his team.
Tough for team.
Yeah.
And he was doing so well. He was running up front. You know, it's only his second race back in the series, and you know he really needs a good result. To
Well, he had a sixth last time at Autopolis, didn't he? And he was looking good for this one. And then there was the big one, and this is a big, big crash. This is 4 into 1. So here we have Sasahara in the lead car, in the Red Bull car. Behind him is Sho Suboi. Behind him, on the near side to us, is Kobayashi, and there's Ryo Hirakawa in the white car just there. And there's Sasahara, just seems to move across. He gets clipped by Suboi. Suboi can go nowhere. Causes him to spin into Hirakawa, and they both end up, Hirakawa on his wheels and Sasahara on his side.
Very scary impact there, and not a lot of chance to slow down. And I never like to see cars go into the barriers like that, but luckily both drivers got out pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And just see that again. Look. Hirakawa had that job done, didn't he? And then just there, the wing just took his back wheel, just caused him to spin round. Kobayashi manages to get through at the top. And that is motorsport, isn't it? That is motor racing.
4 into 1 was never going to work, though.
But Hirakawa would have jumped to 4th had that move come off.
And yet here he is, another race, another no points, and he can feel his championship slipping away. You know, he's already lost the championship in Super GT last week. Coming to the line, you know, he ran out of fuel if you saw the race online, and then now he feels like his championship is slipping away in Super Formula.
How do you reset your mind?
I don't know. He needs to go and see a therapist tonight.
He needs some sort of guru, doesn't he?
Go to bed and get up and just treat tomorrow like a new race.
It's just something's got to happen, because if you dwell on it, it'll happen again.
It'll manifest itself. You know, he's got to reset. He's been dominant all year, but 2 bad qualifyings. One, not through any fault of his own, has just caused this whole season to flip on its head. So he needs to come back guns blazing tomorrow and start again.
But there are 2 more races to go in Super Formula, and it is anybody's game. There's so much that you can see on Red Bull TV. You can see so many videos, actually, and so many films from Super Formula. But one thing you can also see is WRC, and Cheney is there for the final round of WRC this season.
Well, as you can see, the rain continues to fall here in Monza, and I'm told there's snow up on the mountains. It's going to be a hell of a stage later on. Join us live on Red Bull TV, 2:30 p.m. CET, 1:30 if you're watching in the UK for our live coverage. We will see you later. Don't miss it.
We won't, Jenny, we won't. Will you miss it?
I won't miss it.
No, you won't miss it. No, we're going to go straight home. We're going to put that on. Actually, I'm going to go home and recover, because I think that we deserve recovery. You couldn't pack that much action into a 30-lap race. So you can put it into 28, apparently.
Oh, I think we did that. So we've got it all to do again tomorrow.
We do indeed, because it all starts again tomorrow morning, well, midnight really, in fact, Saturday night here in the UK. And it's all going to happen from Suzuka, round 6 of Super Formula coming your way.
The Super Formula season 2020. From one of the most demanding circuits, Suzuka. Men's Formula Series. Live on Red Bull TV.
30-lap race tomorrow. Qualifying starts at midnight. Well, the show starts at midnight anyway with me and Martin. Martin, who's going to win tomorrow?
Stop asking me that question. I don't know. All bets are off.
I thought I'd spring it on you. It is, well, if it's anything like this race today, it should be an absolute cracker, and I cannot wait to in for a treat. 2 races back-to-back in Super Formula, and we'll know really and truly, I think, come tomorrow, around 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, who is where in the championship.
Oh, we're going to get our calculators out. We'll have figured out who's where.
Yeah, we'll have the bods.
And we may have a champion tomorrow.
We may do. Who knows? Who knows? It's been an absolute pleasure, Martin. I think you've enjoyed it too.
I'm off to bed now. I'm exhausted.
Absolutely. Hopefully you've enjoyed the coverage. Thank you very much for your company, and we'll see you back here in, I don't know, about 18 hours, something like that. See you then.